Hi everyone, I'm Kathy Hazel Adams. Thank you for joining me today. Today's video was actually not one that I had planned to do as part of this The Great Shift series, which once again is a series of videos that I'm preparing for you all in very quick succession because it's all around this ascension event that we're going through right now as we speak. And I felt really compelled to go ahead and make these videos for you to help all of us navigate through this amazing, wonderful time. And again, today's video wasn't planned, but I needed to jump on as part of this series to give you a sort of a news flash heads up update based upon some of the things that I told you that I was seeing around the potential solar flash event, the potential 3 days of darkness event. We are right now in the midst of a huge solar event, a huge amount of activity that just came up last night, today. And so I want to give you a little bit of context as far as what I was seeing, what I shared with you that I was seeing, and tie it in and give you all an idea of what I'm feeling intuitively could be happening here, again, going forward here in the next couple of weeks. So in the last two videos I did, the first one being the Great Shift series, the Solar Flash, and the second one being the Great Shift series, 3 Days of Darkness. I told you all that originally I had been wondering if the solar flash event might come at the end of May, the last 2 or 3 days of May, 29th through 31st. Because of the solar activity and the seismic activity on the planet, the planetary geometry, the sacred geometry of the planets right now, but that I was given that no, the solar flash event, regardless of how that plays out, how it looks, how each of us experience that, which version of that timeline we experience, that would be more mid-June. That's what I was originally given. And then while I was actually recording these videos for you, I told you that I'd been picking up that there would be a lot of activity, perhaps particularly seismic activity in the first week to 10 days of June. And that I felt was given that the solar flash type event, again, regardless of how it shows up, might happen more around mid-June, like the 12th through the 15th, and then right while I was recording, I saw 17th. So the solar flash type event then. And I, at that point, saw and felt right while I was recording that it was possible that it wouldn't be one sort of single event, clear event, but more a sort of what I called a swarm or a cluster of solar flares and activity that would make up the solar flash event. And in yesterday's 3 Days of Darkness video that I posted, I said that whatever happens in terms of power outages, power and communications disruptions, no matter whether they're deliberately created or they're the result of lots of solar activity disrupting the power grid on the planet, either in large swaths or the entire planet or just small sort of localized areas, and whether seismic activity would create some kind of huge sort of attention getting on the world stage event, and the whole planet pretty much stops and says, whoa, something big just happened to our planet. The seismic activities, both earthquakes and volcanoes, and the possible disruptions to the power grid and the communications, those all certainly can be sort of interspersed in the same event. So I talked to you about those things in the videos, and again, I specifically had this feeling of like a swarm or a cluster of solar events. So what's going on right now? Stefan Burns, who is the geophysicist that I do click on his YouTubes very frequently, he just posted a YouTube 12 hours ago around midnight saying that we are in the midst of a huge coronal mass ejection, and that we are right now getting to receive a huge plasma shockwave from a double coronal mass ejection that just happened yesterday and then last night. There were 2 coronal mass ejections. The first, which happened yesterday, was a little less powerful and was not directed bullseye toward the Earth, so we're receiving some of it, but not all of the power from that. The second, much larger one that happened last night, came from a sunspot that is directly facing Earth. We are, as he said, directly in the bullseye. We are directly in the strike zone of this coronal mass ejection, and that we're getting ready to receive a plasma shockwave. And he said that the combined waves from the two, actually he said pancake together to create this powerful geomagnetic storm that's going to hit our Earth in just a day or two. Normally, when we've been having geomagnetic storms, and I'll remind you that these solar flares have been bringing us light codes, updates to help us with our ascension. Those solar flares have all been giving us maybe G1, G2 magnetic storms, if even strong enough to be called magnetic storms. This plasma shockwave that's coming toward the Earth right now that will hit us in a couple of days, he said, will be a G3. Could even be a G4, which is termed a serious geomagnetic storm. It could even be a G5 geomagnetic storm, which is called an extreme storm. So there could be radio blackouts. He said there already have been radio blackouts over large swaths of the planet. And interestingly, he said that sunspot is still active. It's still flaring. And so that this could be the beginning of a sequence. And that is so reminiscent of what I was picking up, that there could be a swarm or a cluster. So that's what he's saying, that this could actually be the beginning of, my words, a swarm or a cluster, what he called a sequence. I'll leave a link to the Stefan Burns video below. It's called 2 Plasma Shockwaves Are Going to Engulf the Earth. He is actually right now, as I'm recording this, doing a live event, which he will leave then recorded on YouTube for you to watch back. It's called A New Era is Beginning. Mega solar storms are pushing Earth into energetic chaos. And his thumb says the event of 2025 has begun. And that is just what I was going to say to you all. I already said in one of the other videos in this series that I feel energetically we're on the runway, ready to take off. We're right there. We're actually in the ascension sequence, if you will, the ascension takeoff sequence. And it feels very much that this whole barrage of solar activity that's starting now and possibly going into, as I had said yesterday, into around the 7th or the 10th of the month, there could be a lot of seismic events with that. Because when there is a lot of solar activity, it triggers a lot of seismic activity. So that whole thing about power and communications interruptions, possibly widespread and large, possibly some very large seismic events. They don't have to multitudes of people, but I can't help feeling again that it's going to be things that are very large and attention getting, like, whoa, something big just happened to our planet. Something big is happening to our planet. And it still could be that the channeled entity that I spoke to you about, Tia, who's channeled on the GFL station, she said that this year's solstice is particularly huge, that it somehow has something to do with that solar flash event. So again, will there be one big last single event around solstice? Will there be another swarm or cluster of events around solstice? Or will solstice itself just be a little bit more peaceful, but bring this kind of just integration and assimilation and uplifting of the whole structure? I don't know that for sure, but we're in it. So again, no need to fear. You will have what you need. Watch my other 2 videos where I give more information about how and if to prepare it all. If you feel an inner urge to do something to sort of make sure you have what you need in case there is some kind of widespread disruption for a day or 2 or 10 or whatever, do that. But again, not out of fear, just out of, we'll be fine. This is not here to hurt us. It's here to help us. And so in that spirit, I'll be fine. I feel like I better just go get a little bit of extra this, or I think I better prepare my house this way. Whatever it is, just follow your impulses, knowing and intending that you will be fine. But I just wanted to give you that update that we're in it. We're in the activity. So I'll be back very soon with another video in this series. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a most magical day.